بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers, sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is your host for this program, The Parables of Al-Quran. Your host, Dr. Suhaib Hassan from London. In our last episode, we have discussed about verse 264 of Surah Al-Baqarah, in which a parable is given of those people who spend their money just for show off, just to let the people know that they are spending for the sake of Allah and actually they are spending to show off. That parable we have explained. Now, let us take the following verse, which is 265 from Surah Al-Baqarah, the second surah in Al-Quran. Let me read the ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم ابتغاء مرضات الله وتثبيتا من أنفسهم كمثل جنة بربوة أصابها وابل فآتت أكلها ضعفين فإن لم يصبها وابل فطل والله بما تعملون بصير. The translation of this verse: and the likeness of those who spend their substance seeking to please Allah and to strengthen their souls is as a garden high and fertile. Heavy rain falls on it, but makes it yield a double increase of harvest. And if it receives not heavy rain, light moisture is sufficient to it. Allah sees well whatever you do. Now, in this example, the example is of those people who spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibtigha'a mardatillah, seeking the pleasure of Allah. That is the first thing. And the second thing, وَتَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ, to strengthen their souls. Now, these people, their example is given just like there is a very fertile land and there is that garden which is situated on a hill, and then it receives a very heavy shower of rain. And because of that heavy shower, because of that fertile land, what is going to happen? That فَآتَتْ أُكُلَهَا ضِعْفَيْنِ, this land is going to grow double folds its normal growth, its normal vegetation. And even if it is not a heavy rain, it is just a dew, even then it is sufficient for this land to grow and become prosperous. Wallahu bima ta'maluna basir, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees whatever you do. Now, coming back to this parable, let us see that first of all, these two conditions which are mentioned here. First of all, that they spend it seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have said in the last episode as well that this is a very vital condition, that any act of worship should be done exclusively for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then to seek the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not from anybody else. And here it is said, وَتَثْبِيتًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ, to strengthen their souls. Strengthening your soul means that you are going to be patient on the act of worship. For example, our Prophet ﷺ has said, مَنْ صَامَ رَمَضَانَ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ. The person who fasts the month of Ramadan with faith and seeking the reward, ihtisaban, seeking the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all his previous sins are forgiven. That is again the very same thing, that first of all, this act is only for Allah, and secondly, you want to strengthen your soul, seeking the reward only from Allah, who is able to reward you double-fold, no, many-fold, as we have seen in that Hadith Qudsi, in which it is said that every action of Ibn Adam is multiplied. His good actions are multiplied 10 times, 100 times, 500 times. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, except for fasting, because it is for me, يَدَعُ الطَّعَامَ وَالشَّرَابَ مِنْ أَجْلِي, that man is leaving his food, his drink, just for my sake. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that I am going to give the rewards. Another thing which we understand from this parable, that if the land is fertile, then it is going to accept the rainwater, absorbs it, and after absorbing it, then it let the vegetation grow. Even if it is not a heavy rainwater, it is just a very little water which has touched the ground, or it is just dew, even then it is not going to fail. You would see growth there, you will see the pasture there. So that is the example of the true believer who is spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His soul is ready to accept the favors and bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is why he is given tawfiq. He is given this ability to do that work or that act of worship. And then this act of worship is going to be reflected in the form of a very big reward on the day of judgment. Unlike a hypocrite, a munafiq, that person who professes Islam only outwardly, who is just giving a lip service to Islam, in his heart and soul he is not a Muslim, he is still a non-believer, a kafir. So it means that his soul is not ready to accept the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to accept the favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why in the previous example or the previous parable, it is said that his example is just like فَمَثَلُهُ كَمَثَلِ صَفْوَانٍ عَلَيْهِ تُرَابٌ فَأَسَابَهُ وَابِلٌ فَتَرَكَهُ سَلْدًا, that his example is just like a rock which is covered with a level of clay upon it. But this level of clay upon it is very little. So whenever the rain touches it, all the clay is wiped away completely, and the rock comes out barren without growing anything. And that is the example of the hypocrite. Now we have seen many examples in the life of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the life of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, when this ayah was revealed, مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يُقْرِضُ اللَّهَ قَرْضًا حَسَنًا فَيُضَاعِفَهُ لَهُ وَلَهُ أَجْرٌ كَرِيمٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, who is going to give Allah a good loan? So Allah multiplies for him, and with him is a very generous reward. Just one ayah, one companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose name is Abu Dahdah, a person from Medina who got a garden, or you can say an orchard, with 600 palm tree in it. Abu Dahdah says, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us a good loan. O Prophet of Allah, be a witness that all this orchards is gifted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is given to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That was the spirit. And this person was so keen to accomplish his task that he did not enter the garden. He just shouted from the gate of the garden, saying to his wife, Dahdah, come out, because I have given this orchard for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying to Abu Dahdah, how many gardens you got in Al-Jannah, in the paradise, and you would be enjoying all the fruits of those gardens in Al-Jannah. What a great blessing which is given to that Sahabi, to that companion. And that is the case which is given here. And we got the other examples of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala an. When the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, before the expedition of Tabuk, he appealed for donation. And he said that because we are going to a battle, we need equipment, we need money. So he appealed for it. And then what happens? Sayyidina Abu Bakr comes. And Sayyidina Umar comes as well. That is a very famous incident in the history of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ asked Sayyidina Umar that we have brought a good amount. What have you left for your family? He said, O Prophet of Allah, I have left for them half of my assets, half of my money. And then he asked Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala an, what did you leave for your family? And he said, I have just left for them Allah and His Prophet. And I brought everything for you. That was the spirit and the soul of the early companions, the early followers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And because of them, the edifice of Islam was established. And they are the people who have left very sublime examples for all the Muslims to follow after them. And their example are shining examples for all of us. And let us understand here another point, that to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is of two kinds. One, which is zakat. And as you know that zakat is obligatory upon every Muslim who got a certain amount of money, and he has to give zakat 2.5% after the passage of 12 months upon it. That is obligatory. But the other is just to spend, infaq fi sabilillah, spend generally. Whenever you are required to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you will get this reward. And with this we come to the end of this program. وصلى الله تعالى على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.